Hi students, I'm Una.
And I'm Scott.
I'm a UK OET teacher.
I'm also an OET teacher from the UK.
We've been teaching students to pass their exams for many years.
And now we're excited to help you pass your exams too.
This is the Swoosh English OET Podcast.
Let's get started.
Are you struggling with your OET exam preparation?
Are you unsure how to reach your target score of a grade A or B? Let Swoosh English help you get there.
Go to www.swooshenglish.com or click the link in the description for your free OET complete guide to writing.
Everything you need to know to pass your OET writing step by step. Go to www.swooshenglish.com or click on the link in the description below.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Swoosh English Podcast. Here with Una.
And here with Scott.
Yes, and today we're going to be looking at a particular skill that you can use for effective reading. So we did a podcast previously on skimming, and today we're going to do a podcast on scanning.
Which is the counterpart to skimming entirely. They both come together as one package, so I think it's quite important to actually consider them both together in order to get the most out of your reading
Definitely.
abilities.
Skimming and scanning, I really hope it's not the first time you've heard those words. You are all familiar with what they mean because you already, I'm sure, have been practicing them lots.
Well, even if you're not entirely sure, let's just first describe what the two terms are and what the differences are as well. But as we say, they both come together. So whereas we talked about skimming is reading through, well, both of them involve quick reading. The skimming involves quickly reading through a text in order to get a good understanding of the text as a whole. What's the main
general
theme?
meaning?
What's the gist, essentially? Whereas scanning is a bit different, Una. Would you like to describe what scanning is?
Yeah, so scanning is passing your eyes again rapidly over the text, but you're searching for specific information, the information that you need. A lot of the time it's keywords, but of course not always just keywords. We need to be looking out for paraphrasing too, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it's looking out for the specific information that you need in order to answer a question. And this will have followed on from the analysis of your question and highlighting the keywords in the question. So it's extremely important, as I said, involves passing your eyes over a word rapidly. Passing your eyes over a word, over a text rapidly. Okay? So this is a skill that we use in everyday life.
A good example I could think of as well is maybe you're going to the cinema or you're looking at a menu for a restaurant as well. You might be thinking, okay, well, there's so much information here. There's so much irrelevant information in terms of movies I don't want to watch or food I don't want to eat. Also, the price is important too. So you're going to be looking for what's essential. Like the movie I'm looking at, for example, I picked this movie and I'm looking through, okay, that's the time that interests me and the price. I picked 3 things out of this whole text, the same with the menu as well.
Exactly.
That's essentially skimming and scanning.
Yes, the scanning also involves eliminating information, like you said, eliminating information that is irrelevant to your what you are looking for, okay? So that's a big part of it in order to make sure that you can focus on the information that is most important to you. So when it comes to, like you said, the TV guide or looking up for a time at the cinema, of course, with an OET, of course, it's a bit different. We're looking for the same sort of words, though. We could be looking for dates, names, care instructions, drug dosages. These are the kind of information that we could be scanning for in order to answer the question.
So it could be numerical information, it could be data, it could be headings, or it could be keywords as well. But it's the same concept, finding the essential information.
Okay, so what is the first important tip that we're going to give our students today about what you should do when it comes to scanning?
Well, you need to be able to scan exactly what it is that you require. Find what it is that you really want. So how do we go about doing that? Well, it's important for us to get that information from when we skim. So obviously we skim to begin with, we look through the text, we get a general understanding of the idea, and then we think, okay, well, I think the idea I'm looking for might be in this section, therefore then we need to scan as well.
Yes.
So we can get that information from the question or even from the headings itself. For example, a mock OET style question here would be, which parts of a limb may need extra padding? So you need to actually improve your scanning skills by essentially, what do I need to look for? So what would you look for with that question, Una?
So for that question, which parts of a limb may need extra padding? You're going to be looking for information about different parts of a limb, okay? So
what's a limb?
vocab related to body parts, okay? Vocab related to body parts, bones, joints. Whenever you're scanning, that's going to be the kind of vocabulary and information that's jumping out at you in order to answer that question, okay? Also finding out which parts need extra support or padding when it comes to that limb, okay? So these are the kind of things you're going to be looking out for as you scan through the text. And when you see these words, you're going to be thinking to yourself, okay, I want to stop here and focus on this because this might help me answer the question.
Precisely.
And when you do find key words or even paraphrased words, perhaps synonyms of your key words, it's important that you don't just look at these words in isolation and say to yourself, okay, that's the answer to my question, I found it. Make sure that you also read around the sentence in which you find that information or the vocabulary that you think is leading you to the answer of the question. Make sure that you're confirming the answer. Of course, there's lots of distractors, in the OET exam. So be careful to read the wider context then when you think you find something that is the information that you need.
Highly essential, yes.
Yeah.
So, yep. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so identify the exact information that you need and then start to scan your text looking for that. So padding again, a text which focuses on, fractures, dislocations, sprains. You're going to go straight to that particular text.
Either the words, that's it. The word that could be in the exact form or maybe even paraphrased too. So for example, you see the word limb, you might read arm, leg, knee. Okay, that's you essentially scanning for the essential information overall.
Yeah.
And then extract it.
Very good. Okay, so the next thing then, a big part of the process with scanning is eliminating the information that you don't need.
Yes, whereas scanning is essentially finding that essential information, scanning also does involve eliminating the incorrect information because it's just going to bog you down. It's going to be time inefficient when you're trying to read everything. So how do we go about eliminating what we don't need?
Are you struggling with your OET exam preparation?
Are you unsure how to reach your target score of a grade A or B? Let Swoosh English help you get there.
Go to www.swooshenglish.com or click the link in the description for your free OET Complete Guide to Writing.
Everything you need to know to pass your OET writing step by step. Go to www.swooshenglish.com or click on the link in the description below.
So eliminating, of course, scanning, like we said, it is a process of elimination. And it's very important if we talk about it in particular to part A. So in part A, you're going to have those 4 different texts and your skimming is going to have given you an idea of the topics, right? And whenever you start to, straight away when you look at the question, you're highlighting the information that you need through scanning and looking at the keywords, then you're going to be assessing, okay, then this means I need to go back to this particular text. So straight away, eliminate 3 of the texts and choose 1. The last thing you want to do is waste time, going through a text, scanning through one particular text that actually is not the correct text for the answer.
It could be a big waste of time as well. So
Exactly.
as we can see, as I said at the very beginning of the podcast, that skimming is very complementary to scanning as well. They both come hand in hand.
Yes. So then you go to your text that you've chosen, which you think is applicable to the topic of that question, and start to scan for those words that you've highlighted, the keywords that you've highlighted.
It's important to scan
question.
within the text as well. So eliminate other text, but also scan within the text as well.
Exactly. And then you can start to eliminate your other answer options. For example, if it's a multiple choice question, start to eliminate answer options. Find information which rules out a particular answer and score it out. That helps as well, and then you can have less answers to choose from. So by scanning for the information you need, you avoid reading a lot of other information, a lot of irrelevant information, about 90% of the text which does not contain the answer.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that's really important. Eliminate what you don't need quickly. And what about expecting to encounter paraphrasing then?
Paraphrase is good. I just want to emphasize one final point in the eliminating section as well before we move on to paraphrasing. But you mentioned how it was essential in part A, and I think it's especially essential in part A to get your skimming and scanning techniques down because that is such a time-constrained exercise as well.
Yeah.
You only have 15 minutes after all. So it's important to make sure that you are eliminating, as Una said, 90% of the text while you're skimming and scanning because that will make your time just so much more efficient. Hopefully actually even make sure that you finish the OET reading section
For part A, yeah.
in part A in a timely manner as well.
Definitely.
Just wanted to add that in. Thank you for letting me. All right, let's move now on to paraphrasing. So we're going to encounter paraphrasing in all 3 sections of OET reading. And paraphrasing obviously is the use of synonyms, the use of passive voice to active voice, the use of antonyms as well.
Different word orders.
Word order, the reformulation of sentences. So you're not going to encounter each answer option as it would appear in the text and the answer option. They're not going to be
worded. Or the keywords even.
Yes, they're not going to be worded the same way. So you need to recognize paraphrasing for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. So it's not enough to simply scan the text looking for the exact keywords that are used in the questions. Don't think that is going to, that's going to happen, that it's going to be that easy. There's going to be synonyms used, different grammatical structures, different word orders, paraphrasing from a verb phrase to a noun phrase. So be very careful to look out for your paraphrasing, and that's super crucial to your scanning, to look out for different words as you're going through it. So if we have an example here, for example, what must all staff involved in the transfusion process do? Okay, so that is the question. So then you're going to have a look at the text, and of course different words. Let's see what different words became in the text. So check became ensure. Okay, so one of the answer options was check that their existing training is still valid. Okay,
so that's basically a direct synonym as well.
Exactly. Check in the text became ensure. Existing training becomes competency assessment. Is still valid becomes is updated every 3 years.
Right.
Okay, so as you can see, you cannot isolate one particular keyword, and expect that it's just going to come up in the text.
As we can see, it might not even be a synonym. It could be an antonym, or it could be a completely rephrased idea as well.
Exactly.
So it's important to look around those phrases and those ideas too.
Yeah. So if you're able to recognize paraphrasing, which is so important in all, really, in your listening and your reading section, paraphrasing is so important. But yeah, you will be able to do more efficient and effective scanning.
All right. And I think this is especially essential as well if you are a doctor or a nurse as well, because obviously you're going to be quite busy with your job. You're wanting to first and foremostly give care to your patients. You don't want to be spending time reading through, patient information forms in procedure forms, etc. You don't want to be looking through those in detail.
And taking lots of time.
Because of time. So hopefully you would have practiced this with your job, but it's also essential to do this in OET as well. It's going to be good for your overall your medicine skills as well.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so that is it then with scanning. The most important thing is to identify what you're looking for, know what information you are looking for. Next, identify key terms and move quickly through that text, looking for the key terms or their paraphrased equivalent. And read, like I said at one point in this podcast, make sure that once you identify those key terms or their paraphrased equivalent, that you actually read around the sentence to make sure that, you're correct in the answer you are choosing.
Because as we know in sections B and C of reading, is that you're not looking for individual words, you're looking for ideas which are being expressed around those words. So don't fall in that pitfall once again of finding a paraphrase word, thinking, oh, that word means the same as that word, that must be the answer. No, there's more to it that as well. But once again, that will assess your skimming and scanning skills as well. So read around the rest of the text to just certify that answer.
Definitely. So overall, get lots of practice doing this. We have our blog articles as well on our website on skimming and scanning if you want to get more information and, break an article down and read it.
Okay.
So go to swooshenglish.com and get lots of help there as well. And just start practicing. Start putting these tips into practice, whether it be in your OET mock exams or just in any reading that you do outside of your OET study.
Great tips, Una. And also we recommend, if you haven't watched the complimentary podcast on skimming, that you do that as well, because these two podcasts come together as an essential skill set for your OET reading.
Yeah. So that's it for us today, guys. Thank you for joining us. We hope you got some good tips, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye.